Europe is going downhill with no brakes, and as much as Spain or Greece or Italy may be one of the best countries to live in, if all these measures are implemented, as we are already seeing, it may be time to leave. My name is Victor and I'm from Spain. I know what I'm talking, and I have spent several years living as an expat in different countries. In this video, I will show you the most attractive destinations for relocating where salaried workers, entrepreneurs, business owners and investors tend to settle long term. I will also give you a step-by-step action plan so you can move in the right direction. Contrary to what some might think, I'm not going to recommend Paraguay just because I live there, although it is a country with many advantages in terms of quality of life, freedom, safety, and neutrality. Before diving into the main topic of this video, I want to make one thing clear. I firmly believe that every person has the right to live their life however they see fit, as long as they don't impose their beliefs or behaviors on others. However, many people feel that certain values or perspectives are being forcibly imposed through education systems, media, and everyday life. This video is aimed at those seeking alternatives in countries that maintain a more traditional vision of society. Panama is one of the most attractive countries in Latin America for those seeking low taxes or no taxes, economic stability, and easy residency. Located in a key geopolitical position with coasts on both the Caribbean and the Pacific, it boasts one of the best infrastructures in the region, thanks to the Panama Canal, an economic engine and symbol of global trade. On a financial level, Panama is a business hub with more than 55 international banks and a highly developed ecosystem for foreign investment. It's one of the most crypto-friendly countries in the region, with multiple exchanges in operation and growing acceptance of crypto payments. For me, Panama is the Hispanic Miami, just a 3-hour flight from Miami. Let's talk about residency in Panama. And there are multiple options. The first one, digital nomad visa, designed for remote workers with income or at least $3,000 per month, granted for 9 months and renewable for another 9 months. The second one, pensioner visa, ideal for individuals with a guaranteed pension or lifetime income. Applicants must show monthly income or at least $1,000 from a public or private pension, sometimes granted to individuals with high income and older age even without a guaranteed pension, but I wouldn't count on it. Third option, friendly nations visa, available for citizens of more than 50 countries. Requires an investment of $200,000 in real estate or a bank deposit. Alternative, you can create a company in Panama and list yourself as a shareholder. More or less the same like the UAE, where you create a free zone company and you sponsorize yourself with the same visa of employee or investor visa. Is the same process. The fourth option is the golden visa that grants immediate residency with a $300,000 investment in real estate. There are also options by funds and bank deposits, but they require larger amounts. As in the UAE, to get the visa, the business doesn't need to be profitable, it just needs to be fully compliant. Obtaining legal residency in Panama doesn't not automatically make you a tax resident. To be recognized as a Panamánian tax resident, you must meet certain criteria. The most important being spending at least 183 days per year in the country. There is a center of interest option as well, but unless you clearly meet these requirements, it may not be the best route, at least the first year. Panama's tax system is territorial, meaning taxes are only paid on income generated within the country. Foreign source income is not taxed, making it highly attractive for international entrepreneurs. It's a pure territorial system. In my view, one of the best. You can even declare your foreign income voluntarily for a record-keeping purposes, which is impossible in many other countries like Paraguay, like Thailand, is non-dom, and maybe Bolivia or Uruguay. The taxation in Panama at personal level income, you have 0% for annual income up to $11,000, more or less, 15% for income between $11,000 and $50,000, and 25% for income over $50,000. In the other hand, we have the corporate tax marked in 25% of income generated within Panama, 0% if the company invoices exclusive outside Panama. But also we have other taxes. For example, no wealth tax, no inheritance or gift taxes, but also you have dividends from foreign income tax except you don't have crypto taxes, but you have 5% taxes on dividends if you make all your business from a Panamanian company. So you will have 0% corporate tax if the income is from abroad, but you have 5% dividends if you are working with a local company. So in these cases, maybe some people have other companies outside. Naturalization in Panama harder than it seems, unlike countries like Mexico or Argentina, where naturalization is relatively quick. Acquiring Panamanian citizenship is extremely difficult in practice. While the law says you can apply after 5 years of residency or 3 for citizens of Ibero-America countries, the process is bureaucratic and approvals are highly selective. It's not uncommon for applications to stall for years, and the government is very restrictive about issuing Panamanian passports. That said, Panama offers one of the most flexible residencies with few state requirements, making it ideal as a plan B to escape all this cultural nonsense. The second destination on the list is Bali, Indonesia. Unlike Panama, Bali tends to attract more freelancers and independents than big business owners, due to its natural surrounding, vibrant culture, and relatively low cost of living. Located in a strategic spot in Southeast Asia, Bali is a well-known Indonesian island famous for its rich culture, surrounded by the Indian Ocean and the Bali Sea. For me, Bali is one of those islands that come to mind when people say they want to go far, live well, and live cheaply. But be aware, if you head to lesser-known islands in Indonesia, you will be distancing yourself even more from the West, and you will barely recognize anything. Prices in areas like Canggu have gone up, but in many parts of Bali, the cost remains much lower than Europe. Also, it's hard to get bored in Bali. There are things to do both day and night. We need to talk about the visas, because we have the digital nomad visa that Indonesia has announced plans to introduce a specific visa for digital nomads, allowing remote workers to live in the country without paying taxes on foreign earned income, while full details and launch date are still pending. The visa is expected to last up to 5 years. Also, we have the work visa, KITAS, suitable for those with a job offer in Indonesia. This temporary stay permit is valid for 1 year and renewable. Also, we have a retirement visa called KITAP, not KITAS, for retirees who want to live in Indonesia. Requires proof of financial solvency and a valid health insurance. Hospitals and schools aren't up to the standards of other destinations. If you have children, you may want to look at other places with better private schools, or if you have the means, opt for homeschooling. In Indonesia, you are considered a tax residency if you stay in the country for 183 days or more in 12-month period, and you will be taxed of your global income. However, in Bali there is a 4-year tax exception, but then you don't benefit from double taxation treaties maybe you have with Spain, with France, or with other countries. After those 4 years, you're supposed to pay taxes. That said, 99% of people living there as nomads for more than 6 months per year use a typical US LLC to receive income, and in practice, tax enforcement isn't strict, but of course, this isn't the correct approach. Starting a business in Indonesia can be a pathway to residency, but you will need to meet specific regulations, including minimum capital and partnering with local stakeholders in some sectors. The UAE has long been a tax haven and magnet for entrepreneurs, expats, and high net worth individuals. With Dubai and Abu Dhabi as its main economic centers, the country has seen impressive growth, with a per capita GDP of $49,000 in 2023, an annual growth of 7.9%. Its infrastructure is a world-class, with mega projects, artificial islands, massive shopping malls, and one of the busiest airports in the world. It also offers outstanding quality of life, low crime, and a luxurious environment. However, it's important to understand that the Emirates are not static. They are gradually adopting Western-style economic and fiscal changes. While the woke culture isn't likely to enter, CBDCs and digital control will absolutely arrive. In the UAE, the visa options are easy to understand. You usually have 3 paths: a work or investor visa if a company hires you, starting your own company and issuing yourself a visa, like in Panama, or investing at least $500,000 in real estate to obtain the golden visa. I know that there is another golden visa for $50,000-$60,000, okay? But you need to meet that profile in specific that they are searching. The taxes in the UAE are perfect, no personal income tax for now, a new 15% corporate tax for multinationals earning over $750 million annually per OECD global minimum tax rules, 9% corporate tax on companies earning over $100,000 per year. There are still exemptions in the free zone if the company operates outside the UAE, and also we have the small business relief that ends up in 2026, I think. But after this, you will have to pay if your revenue is less 3 million dirhams per year, that in the change is like $800,000. I honestly believe that while the UAE is still far more favorable tax-wise than the West, it's likely that over time, exemption for a small business will be removed and eventually a low-rate personal income tax may be introduced. It won't be high, not like Europe's 50% brackets, but the idea of zero tax for everyone might disappear in a few years. If your plan is go to the UAE looking for a job, the truth is it's not easy. It's not the best place to look a job. If you already have a job offer, it's a great opportunity. High salaries, no personal tax. Many companies offer great compensation packages. If you go without a job, it's not easy. Competition is high, the cost of living is high, and most good jobs are filled before you even arrive. It's an ideal place for entrepreneurs, investors, and business owners, but not to try your luck without a clear strategy or contacts. Compared to Saudi Arabia, Oman, or Qatar, where laws and culture are much more traditional, the UAE is by the far most flexible and westernized. At least Dubai, the other Emirates not so much. Also, you need to know that the schools for non-Emirati people are private. Health insurance, of course, there is no public healthcare for expats, so private insurance is mandatory. I don't know where you live, but if you live in a European country where you spend maybe 1,500 euros or 2,000 euros per month to live, in the UAE you require to spend at least 2x, maybe 3x of that. The fourth destination here is my choice, and is Paraguay. Not because I'm just another guru recommended it without having lived there. I live in Paraguay. It's a country with major cities like Asunción, the capital, and Ciudad del Este. Outside those cities, it's mostly nature, farmland, and land where people are investing and very low cost. The cost of living in Paraguay is pretty low if we compare it with Europe, for example. You can rent a furnished one-bedroom apartment or a studio, known locally as a monoambiente, for as little as 300 euros per month. That includes access to a gym, pool, private security, and it's one of the best neighborhoods in Asunción. Yes, it's cheaper, but if you want to live very well, you will need to spend more. For example, in my case, I have been spending these months like maybe 2k a month in Asunción, living in a good apartment, looking all the views from Asunción. Also, I eat the best food in Asunción, and also I have some restaurants, I go out sometimes. It's a good life. Here is how I see Paraguay. It's not a tourist destination. People are more likely to visit Argentina, Brazil, or Colombia, so the only way to attract people is through its easy residency, quality of life, and low taxes. That's true that Paraguay has the easiest, fastest, and cheapest residency process in the world. The requirements are simple: passport, birth certificate, and police clearance. There is no requirement for income history, proof of solvency, or other stricter conditions found in other countries. It truly is the simple residency permit currently available. That said, I highly recommend going through a lawyer. Even though the process is easy to understand, you will always need someone local who has done it many times and knows all the shortcuts. And also, if you don't know Spanish, please, if you go to Paraguay, you will have to learn some Spanish because people there, the majority don't speak English. Here is what's really interesting. You don't even need to live in Paraguay to obtain tax residency. If you begin with temporary residency instead of permanent residency, you just need to visit once per year while maintaining your fiscal number RUC RUC and submitting monthly declarations. You can live in the country if you want, but this has become an excellent option for Europeans who are tired of their governments and are relocating either with their families or to return. Since Paraguay gives you the tax residency certificate with minimal requirements, many digital nomads are choosing this route than living a few months in Bali, Dubai, the Dominican Republic, Costa Rica, the US, etc. etc. However, we must note that if you still have your center of interest in your country and they challenge your tax residency, please, you are fucked. We help people move to Paraguay every week and perform tax analysis to see if the best option for them or if they need to look another option for tax residency because it has a double tax treaty. Paraguay's tax system is very favorable. 10% personal income tax, 10% capital gains tax, 10% corporate tax, no wealth, inheritance or gift tax, at least not directly. There are some specific legal nuances you need to check with your lawyer. As for the passport, don't be fooled. Naturalizing in Paraguay is very difficult. Unless you have the best lawyers, local connections, and genuine ties to the country, you won't get it. I investigated this with my partner, and they have only granted around 100 passports per year in recent years. So if you get your residency and then leave without investing anything or contributing locally, don't expect to be given citizenship. Despite having had progressive-leaning governments for decades, the recent shift with President Javier Milei has sparked interest among many expats. Buenos Aires, in particular, retains a strong cultural identity and offers a quality of life appealing to those seeking a more European environment without the insecurity problems of other countries. If you want the Switzerland of South America, many people compare it to Uruguay, while others refer to Bariloche or Puerto Madero. From the glaciers of Patagonia to the beaches of Mar del Plata, Argentina is incredibly diverse. Argentina is also known for its high level of education, free healthcare, and a culture heavily influenced by Europe, which makes it an attractive destination for expats. One major advantage is how easy it is to obtain residency with multiple paths available. First of all, we have temporary residency for people entering on a work, study, investment, or retirement visa, valid for 2 years and renewable. Now we have permanent residency, available after 2 years of temporary residency. You don't need to invest large sums or buy property. I usually recommend the rentista residency that requires proof of income equivalent to 30 times the minimum wage, about 1.5k to 3k more or less. One of the most important considerations is how taxes work in Argentina. During your first year of temporary residency, you are not considered a tax residency until month 13, so your first year is tax-free. After that, you will be subject to Argentina's progressive tax system, which is similar to Europe's. Now, in practice, there is almost no real tax enforcement, so very few people actually pay. That said, I always recommend doing things properly, either structure your foreign companies correctly or be prepared to pay local taxes. Personally, I wouldn't move to Argentina for tax residency, but if you are fleeing woke culture, it's worth considering. However, they do need to tightly regulate their immigration policy, because if they allow open borders like Europe did, they will be in trouble. Despite its economic crisis, Argentina is one of the cheapest countries in the region for foreigners earning in dollars or euros. Of course, it's more expensive than Paraguay, but Paraguay is the jewel of Mercosur. What I like of Argentina is the citizenship, because it's one of the greatest strengths that Argentina has. You can obtain citizenship in just 2 years of legal residency. Usually, the requirement for Argentina citizenship is live for at least 2 years in Argentina, and each year more or less at least 6 months. Also, you have to have proof of ties to the country like housing, work, taxes, and some proofs. Some highlights for this process is the fast process, one of the world's quickest naturalization paths, in some cases just 2-3 months, in other cases 12 or 24 months, okay? dual nationality is allowed, has a strong passport, visa-free access to over 170 countries, including the EU, UK, and Russia. Also, you have right to live and work in Mercosur countries like Brazil, Uruguay, Paraguay, and like other countries where naturalization can take 5 to 10 years, Argentina's process is much quicker and more accessible. I wouldn't move there myself right now, but I would keep it in mind for the future. Even though Milei is improving things, we will need to see how far he can go, and wherever the public lets him. Because if he's gone in the next election, it's all worthless, and many people don't understand that. The Philippines is a country that offers a unique combination of low taxes, affordable cost of living, easy residency, and a conservative cultural environment. Unlike many Western countries, the Philippines has not adopted radical woke policies nor aligned itself closely with the UN's Agenda 2030, making it an excellent option for expats seeking both economic and cultural freedom. The Philippines is an archipelago of over 7,600 islands located in Southeast Asia with a population of 1/115 million. You will have tropical climate with warm temperatures year-round, paradise beaches and breathtaking nature in places like Palawan, Boracay or Siargao. Also, you have vibrant urban life in Manila and Cebu with access to malls, restaurants and nightlife. You have conservative culture with no woke impositions in education or public policy. If you are looking for a country with low taxes, affordable living and traditional values, the Philippines is one of the best options out there. One of the great advantages is that it's very easy to reside in the country without needing large investments or complicated procedures. You have the easiest one, the tourist visa residency. You can enter on a tourist visa and renew it for up to 3 years without leaving the country. You can pay small extensions fees every 2 months, around 300 to 400 per year. You don't need rental contract, job offer or investment, ideal for digital nomads and expats without ties. The second option we have there is the pensioner or rentier residency, SRRV, for foreigners investing at least $75,000 in sectors approved by the Philippine government. Grants permanent residency as long as the investment is maintained. It's like the golden visas in Greece, for example, or in Spain. Also, you have a special resident retires visa for people aged 35 and older. Requires a bank deposit in the Philippines of between $10,000 and $50,000 depending on age and circumstances. Also requires proof of a monthly pension of $800 or $1,000 for couples. Also, you can obtain residency by creating a company. The Philippines allows 100% foreign ownership in some sectors, though others require a local partner with 60% ownership. There are special economic zones with tax benefit for foreign investors. Another good point of the Philippines is that the Philippines only taxes income generated within the country. If you earn money abroad, like freelancers, investment, offshore business, you pay zero in taxes. Local taxation isn't great, so ideally you would want to earn money abroad. The Philippines is one of the cheapest countries in the world if you earn in dollars or euros, because a premium zone apartment rent $300 to $600 per month in Manila or Cebu. A dinner for two at a luxury restaurant, $15 to $30. Taxi around across town, $2 to $5. Monthly groceries, $200 to $300. Private education from $200 months in quality schools. If you live outside Manila or Cebu, you can cut costs by 30 to 40%. But for me, one of the most appealing aspects of the Philippines is its resistance to woke ideology and the 2030 agenda. The Philippines is not woke because it has no imposition of inclusive language or gender ideology in schools or laws. No cancel culture or hate speech censorship like Canada or Spain. Conservative and religious society with traditional family and educational values. Also has no carbon taxes or extreme energy transport restrictions. No bans on meat or individual consumption like in other countries. No pressure to create 15-minute cities or movement control. The government maintains a pragmatic approach protecting private enterprise and foreign investment. To me, this is one of the best destinations in Africa. In fact, we mention it in our list of countries to consider in the event of a third world war. It is very easy to set up companies there, and the residency options are not easy as creating offshore companies in Mauritius. For example, investment in a business that requires you a minimum investment of $50,000. Also, you can obtain residency by purchasing property under the Property Development Scheme, PDS, but the value has to be $375,000. The residency is granted to the investor and their family. And Mauritius has great taxes because foreign source income is not taxed unless it's remitted into the country. If you bring foreign income into Mauritius, it's taxed at 5%. If you live it abroad, you pay 0% taxes. One thing to mention is traffic and accidents. Like in many islands destinations, the number of accidents is surprisingly high. So don't act reckless on scooters like many tourists do in Thailand, Vietnam or Indonesia. We could also mention some low-tax countries in Europe like Cyprus, where I have lived and been a tax resident with my company. Honestly, it's a great place, it's not woke at all, and the population is very alert. But in a few years, we will likely see all this creeping in. Also worth mentioning, Hungary, Poland, Serbia, Romania, Bulgaria and Malta. None of these destinations are particularly woke and they offer moderate or low taxation. They are useful as bridges before leaving Europe. At least it's a valid option. Here are just some of the countries worth mentioning. They are not the only ones. I personally believe there is no single solution for everyone. Each person, based on their preference, lifestyle and needs, should choose where they truly want to live in a given destination. You can fill out the form in the description, put in your personal case, we can talk, you can come to the office and see what is the best solution for you.